Yo, what's going on guys? Welcome back to Bringing Division video. What I've guessed today is my favorite damage build for patch point 8. In my opinion, this build is very reliable for both PvP or PvE. It really depends what kind of player you are. But as I said, if you go in PvE, you can use this build and dominate. You don't have to rely on your teammates' Reclaimer or your teammates to pretty much keep you alive. You can do that yourself, and if you go in the Dark Zone or just play Last Stand overall, you can use this build and dominate most of the players you will see. Now, I was going to post this a little bit earlier, I'm not going to lie, but there was two different variations of this build I was kind of testing out, and I finally came to the conclusion that what I have right now, pretty much my gear rolls, my weapon, everything about this build, I am not going to change at all. I'm going to keep everything I have right now, and this, in my mind, is the final state of the build. Now, as I said, there's two different variations of this build you can use. You can try out the first one, which is at 9,000 stamina. And there's another one at 6,000 stamina, and that right there probably already gave away the build. But if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, yes, I am talking about Striker. And to be more exact, I'm talking about 6-piece classified Striker. Unfortunately, it is another classified build, and I do want to apologize for this, but you guys got to keep in mind, most of the good builds right now in the game are just all classifieds. If you guys want, leave in the comment section below. I can make a really good build for you guys that's not classified, anything like that, for anyone that's returning to the game or anyone that's pretty much new to the game. You don't have any classified gear, anything like that. I can probably make you a decent build. But as I said, yes, it is a 6-piece classified Striker, and really quickly, I just want to say, this, in my mind, is better than Predamark. And now I know there's going to be like a little bit of hate in the comment section below. But in my eyes, I would rather use something that does give me a lot of damage and also gives me a lot of survivability, and that's the one thing I really like about using Striker. The same thing with Nomad. Both of them I really enjoy using for both PvP or PvE. And the thing with Predamark, classified Predamark, is yes, you do a lot of damage, but although you have 9,000 stamina, your survivability isn't as strong, and if you're playing by yourself, anything like that, it can be a struggle to keep yourself alive. Anyways, enough of the chit-chatting, let's get right into the build. So the first thing I do want to show you guys are my abilities. So really quickly, I am using a booster shot with a immune station. In my mind, the booster shot is just there, not for the healing, but it's more for the damage resistance and also for the extra damage. For example, if you are in a 1v2 situation, stuff like that, the booster shot can really help you out if you are at 100 stacks or like 90 stacks, anything like that. Popping that booster shot will really increase your damage, and you're just gonna melt. Let's just say that you're gonna melt. If you're at 100 stacks, 90 stacks, whatever it is, your damage output is going to be insane. Also, I am using the immune station just for the extra survivability and pretty much like cleansing myself when I'm running away. If I go on fire, anything like that, that immune station is just there. Lastly, for the talents, I'm using the same thing I always use, and that is critical save, strike back, precision, and on the move. The one thing is, I would really recommend using precision since you don't have a pulse, and since you don't have a lot of skill power. Using precision is a really good choice because if you get a headshot on an enemy, you get an additional critical hit damage and critical hit chance, so overall you're just going to be doing a bit more damage. Anyways, as for the build, this is what I'm rocking with. So yes, it is a 6,000 stamina Striker build. As I said in the beginning, you can use something like 9,000 stamina or 6,000 stamina, it's really up to you, and it's more personal preference, I would say, than anything else. They're both really good, builds for both PvP or PvE, but like I said, it's more personal preference, and in my mind, I like having a little bit more firearms, just so my damage output is a little bit greater. So the first thing I do want to show you guys are my weapons and what I'm using on this build. So yes, I did go with a lightweight M4 instead of the house. There's two main reasons why. The first one is I just kind of got bored of the house. If you guys saw my previous videos, like the Nomad build, Predamark build, stuff like that, everything on it, I was using the house, and I'm not gonna lie, I got kind of bored of it. It's still a really good weapon, don't get me wrong, it's really good. But I just, wanted to use something a little bit different, and also, with Striker, you want to be able to stack your shots really easy and really consistent. And I felt like with the SMG, I just have to be way too close, and sometimes if the NPC is just really far away, it's a little bit harder to hit your shots and stack your, Striker so you get the healing or the extra damage. So that's pretty much why I went with a lightweight M4. Anyways, as for the talents, I'm using Unforgiving, Vicious, and Responsive. In my mind, this is the perfect role for a lightweight M4. At least for this build, maybe something like a Nomad build, I would change it up. But with this build, I feel like it's really important to have these talents, and pretty much all of them will benefit me in the long run. Also, I am using a Super 90. This is mainly just for stacking your shots, and even sometimes when I'm farming something like landmarks or you know, contamination areas in the dark zone, I like using the shotgun so I can just melt NPCs way faster. Anyways, getting straight into the gear, so the first thing I do want to show you guys is my chest piece. So what I have on it is stamina, health, exotic damage resilience, and also ammo capacity. And then lastly, I do have 2 firearms and health mods on this chest piece. For the mask, I do have firearms, critical hit chance, and damage to elites. The one thing is, maybe burn resistance would be a little bit better, but like I said, I use this build a lot for PvE as well. So in my opinion, damage to elites is kind of worth it. And lastly, I am using 1 stamina and health mod on this mask. Next up for the knee pads, I do have firearms, health, burn resistance, bleed resistance, and damage to elites once again. And then for the mods, I'm using another stamina health mod and also a first aid self heal. For the backpack, we're spec'd into stamina, health, bleed resistance, and I'm also using a stamina health mod with 2 first aid self heals. For the gloves, I'm rolled into firearms, and I would recommend rolling assault rifle damage, critical hit chance, and critical hit damage for the maximum damage output. Lastly, for the holster, I am spec'd into critical hit chance, and I'm also using a first aid self heal. But anyways, that's it for the build. As I said, you guys can spec into 9,000 stamina or 6,000, it's really up to you and it's your personal preference. As I said, I'm more of a firearms person, so I like doing a little bit more damage, and with my playstyle, having 6k stamina and almost 7k firearms just worked out a little bit better. The last thing I do want to actually show you guys are my character stats. I know everyone's always curious about this. So for the weapon damage, I'm sitting at 20.1k. 31.50% critical hit chance, 94% critical hit damage, 86% headshot damage, which I probably will improve this. I might go into headshot damage because how much stability I actually have on my M4, and this would be actually kind of smart to do. So, you know, I'll just see in the future. But next thing is, my max health, I'm sitting at 353, and then lastly, I'm sitting at 0% skill haze. But yeah, like I said, that's it for the build. If you guys have any questions about it, let me know in the comment section below. I respond to all my comments. But once again, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.